Welcome to this demonstration of the Zyconix Active Directory Synchronizer for HP TRIM and Records Manager. What we're doing here is we've assumed that you've installed the Active Directory Sync software correctly and set up the XML file. So we're going to have a look at a couple of data sets. TRIM 1, which has nothing in the locations to date except for the TRIM services account and the setup user account, and TRIM 2, which is something that you might see at your place, which has got a whole stack of groups and users set up, and what we're going to try and do is match those in. So we've got the Active Directory Sync services set up. We haven't actually got the service set up yet. We're going to do that once we've got everything else bedded in with our XML file. So we're going to run this manually for a couple of times first. So if we come down to the Start menu, we'll find the Check XX AdSync. That's a tool that's going to go off to Active Directory, find users and groups, and pop them into our admin database. Now it then goes off with whatever automated items we may have set up and asks you for each one if you want to run them. But we're not going to run them at this point in time. But the service would be doing this if it was set up. So we've got nothing in TRIM yet. And if we go into XX Manage Sync, we'll be able to see for each data set what has to be done. So you can see that the legend says not in TRIM. We're connected to TRIM 1, that's our default data set. And we've got the groups and users in their hierarchy ready to go. If we want to, we can ignore some of these and so that they won't get loaded, but we're going to change everything. We're going to leave everything as it is for now. Let's go to our Manage Update screen. There's a whole stack of new objects and new relationships to set up, so we're going to update them all. And we're going to try and match groups on name and reactivate users. The software will also match logins. So off we go with a whole stack of people and administrators. So that's finished for TRIM 1. And if we go to the TRIM 1 dataset and refresh this view, we find that all of those locations have been created. There are some groups created, there's positions created, users and users within the positions, and some within groups depending on how they appear in Active Directory. But all the hierarchy's been preserved. Now we already have all of that in the TRIM 2 dataset, but we haven't yet got it connected up to our Active Directory Synchronizer. So we'll just change to TRIM 2 and we will manage updates again and update all. So what that's doing, it won't be making any changes in TRIM at this point because there's nothing to change, but it will be doing our link. We don't write anything to TRIM except something to the notes if that's enabled in the XML file. So all of the linking is done in our administrative database, which is sitting on SQL. So you don't have to worry about things being mucked up in TRIM. We'll also never ever delete a location. The most we'll ever do is disable it. Okay, that's the end of the first part of the demonstration, and the next one will be what happens to updates.